In looking at our next Grammar Day lesson of inversions, we're going to look at the if conditionals. And when we change this into an inversion, it sounds beautiful also. So let's look at our structure, because the meaning of the if is still implied with the inversion. So we're going to be looking at using a conditional phrase, which is the type of like the if phrase, plus a result phrase. And within the conditional phrase, it needs to be modal, subject, and most likely a verb if it's going to be there. Usually modal might be the one. So let's look at our sample. Had subject, person, been, is going to be equal to the same thing as if the subject had been. So we're looking at this structure of if conditionals. If we remove the if, here's your inversion. Had moves to the front. Had I been, had you been. So this will work. Let me give you an example sentence. It works. Here we go. Had I been there, I would have protected you. Yes, I've got muscles. I'll protect you. Had I been there, I would have protected you. So here's the inversion with the modal, subject, and then here's your verb phrase happening for the condition and then the result. The result, I would have protected you. So here is another way we can use it, because we can use had, we can use were. Were subject is going to equal the same conditional of if subject were. If I were I. Sounds weird, but in the sentence, it totally makes sense. Let me share with you a nice, beautiful long sentence. If I were taller, I could have reached the top shelf without calling you to help. Sometimes I need help because I can't reach that top shelf. Were I taller, I could have reached the top shelf without calling you to help. So here's that, it sounds, were I taller, here's that adjective that I mentioned before that we would also use sometimes in explaining this. It works. Were you nicer, I would respond to your comment. It works. Now, we can use had, were, and should for these inversions of conditionals. Should subject is equal to the same as if subject should. So the if conditional of if subject should, this would work. So let me give you the sample sentence. Should you need a friend, I am here. So here's your condition and the result. Should you need a friend, here's this modal, subject, verb, and it's an inversion of this. So have your condition, should you need a friend, the result is, I am here. So here's your way to use inversions on if conditionals using had, were, and should.